third quarter and not a good enough start to the fourth quarter turned it into, a real back and forth game, and they executed down the stretch, and we did not execute well enough. So credit them for fighting hard, hanging in. We got a pretty good lead in the third quarter, but didn't do a good enough job of attacking, but also avoiding miscues. So difficult loss. So we'll watch it tomorrow, and there are a lot of things we can do better.
Rick, just 42 points for you guys in the second half. Why do you think your offense stalled to the extent that it did?
Well, they had a lot of their better defenders in the game in the second half, and that makes it harder. And so, you've got to grind defensively to get rebounds, and there's a different element of grinding when you're going against their better guys. And so we're going to have to do better in a lot of those situations. And there were times we got good shots and just simply didn't hit them, and that's all part of this.
Towns had 20 in just that fourth quarter. What went wrong defending him in that frame?
Didn't do a good enough job. He's got a hair trigger, and you think you're close enough to him, and he just flicks the wrist. So he hit some threes. He got to the rim. He played great down the stretch.
Aaron obviously goes down with the ankle injury in the third, comes back. I mean, what was kind of his situation, basically? What did he have to do to work through it? What kind of, shape is he in coming out of that? And I guess how much did that kind of knock everybody back on their heels a little bit when a guy like Aaron goes out?
Yeah, it certainly is a factor. He went back to the training room, got it looked at, believe he got it retaped. He was doing things in the hallway to get moving again. And then I got the word that he was good to go back in, that he was moving without limitation at that point in time. And so rather than wait, decided the best thing to do is get him back in there so that, he didn't stiffen up anymore. And then, down the stretch, he seemed to move okay to me, just from the eye test standing there, but I haven't studied the film yet. And obviously we'll know more tomorrow.
What was your read on just how the team reacted to him being out, basically? I mean, it seemed like there was obviously a few minutes they had to come back in part because of that. Did it take everybody else a while to get used to him not being there and him being out?
Well, I don't know what exact time was it that he got
6:06
of the third?
6:06 of the third.
Of the third, yeah. I mean, look, you lose a guy like that, it affects your ability to close a quarter, so maybe there's a factor there, but look, we're not going to make excuses. I mean, we've come back from big leads. We lost a lead today. Regardless of who's out there, we got to be able to attack better and do the things to maintain it and finish the game. We just simply did not execute as well as we needed to.
They obviously played a lot more guys than they usually do. It went a lot deeper into that into their benches. How did you see those guys change things? Seeing some players that you haven't really seen very much in the series.
Yeah, McBride got 3 fouls in the first quarter, I guess, and so that took him out of it. So, I don't know what their plan was coming into the game, but the guys that came in, they battled, they battled and did a very good job. And so, we gotta circle the wagons and do better.
Rick, obviously, you all defended Jalen Brunson better overall this game. What do you think led to that? And also towards the end, what do you think allowed him to kind of get over the hump still a little bit with 6 points over the last 77 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, he's a walking basket. He's just hard to guard. We're trying to make it hard on him. I don't know the entire sequence of everything down the stretch. He made one tough runner. That's a wrong-footed contested 2. I mean, it's a shot he makes. But look, they made plays and we didn't. when it got to that point in the fourth quarter. So, give them credit, and we gotta do better.
Rick, specifically in that third quarter, what do you think allowed you guys to get a little out of kilter offensively in terms of not just running your offense, but trying to find Brunson, trying to get him into movement situations, or trying to get him, because he has 4 fouls coming into the quarter. What kind of got away from you guys offensively?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know exactly. I do know that when we started building a lead and the crowd got into it, things got a little crazy. We had some back and forth kind of, nutty plays with some turnovers and stuff like that. So much of playoff basketball is doing the basics really well, and in those instances, being able to keep a level of poise along with aggression. And so, I'll look closer at it, tonight. But clearly, we didn't do well enough in that area.
Ty, you guys scored just 42 in that second half. What did you see as the reasons your offense stalled for much of that?
We had some missed shots, 5 for 25 from 3. That's not ideal. I thought I got to watch film to really see our offensive processes, what they really were. Felt like we got kind of stagnant on that end, but we'll see where we can get better, watch film, and be ready to go for Game 4.
What are you reading on the drives to decide to shoot or pass in this series? It felt like a lot of kickouts today.
Yeah, I don't know, just trying to feel out the game, see who's rotating over, see who the rotations are. Obviously Mitch is their, main rim protector, so when he's coming over, just trying to make the right play. But yeah, I could definitely be better there. But again, I watch the film, see my areas of improvement, see how I can get better for Game 4.
20 from Cat in that fourth. What do you think you guys need to do better against that?
Yeah, I thought we probably fouled too much down there, and then he's just a guy who flick the wrist. He can see over guys 7 foot, big dude. So we got to get up and just do a better job of showing help in the gaps. But yeah, again, just something we'll watch film on and correct.
How much did you see things kind of change when AA went down? He obviously comes back, but at that moment when you see a guy, considering what he's done, especially in these playoffs, go down, how did that kind of shake people up, and do you think it took a while to kind of get past that?
Yeah, obviously it's not ideal. He's been such a big part of what we do, and he is such a big part of what we do. So it's not ideal to see. So we'll see what happens, how he's feeling and all those things. But, he gutted it out for us, came through. We are definitely, AA is a big part of what we do. So, obviously not ideal.
How did they change it by going a little bit deeper in their bench? Obviously, they changed the starting lineup, but they also played a lot more guys that you haven't seen very much in terms of minutes. I mean, just how did that change the dynamic, especially in terms of what they were able to do on defense?
With other guys playing, those are, I think those, especially all 4 of the guys who played off the bench are really defensive guys, and they come in and wreak havoc. And I thought we just didn't do a good job of, continuing to play fast. I felt like I did a poor job of keeping pace in the game, especially in the fourth there. I felt like I was walking the ball up every play. So I know it's a big area of improvement for me. I already know that's what I'm going to see on the film most of the time. So just got to do a better job of keeping pace in the game. Obviously a 42-point half isn't us. So we'll see what we can do better there, and we'll improve on it.
I guess, was there a read thing as to why you were walking up the floor more? Was there? I mean, you obviously always throw the ball up. You always want to. And
yeah.
Something that was telling you, it's a good idea to slow it down.
Well, I think just trying to get guys in the right positions. I think down the stretch, a game like this comes down to 1 or 2 possessions. So just trying to execute the right way, get guys in the right spots. But yeah, it's definitely an area where I know when I watch film, I'm going to kick myself for. I'm already thinking about it, kicking myself for it. So. I think that's just part of it, and I got to be better there. Honestly, I think a lot of our offensive struggles in the second half were due to me. So, I got to be better there, and I will be better in Game 4.
We talked just about the half in general, but I guess what did you not like about especially late game stuff, and what stood out to you kind of, I guess, in the last few minutes when it's a shot-to-shot, possession-to-possession stretch? Yeah,
I don't think our execution was great. I didn't do a great job of getting downhill and, just making plays. I got to do a better job there. I think I'm relied on to do a lot down the down the stretch of games, get guys in the right positions. And I feel like I didn't do personally a great job at that. I think especially Pascal had it going there. Probably should have gotten the ball a little bit more. But I feel like we got some decent looks, but we can definitely be better there. Execution down the stretch, we can definitely be better, and that starts with me. So, you live with it, you watch film, and you get better, and you prepare for Game 4.
Ty, being on the other end of like the tight game and kind of losing it this time, I guess what do you take away from it? And is there anything different? Like, do you look at the process or do you focus on the result? Like, how do you kind of look at it?
Well, I mean, you got to focus on the result because it's 2-1. And that's a game that, we feel like we were in position to win and didn't do a good job in the second half. But I mean, it's always process. That's what it always is. Where can we get better? We feel like offensively we've had a great series thus far. I would say that was our first real like bad half offensively. So we got to be better there. And then defensively, you hold that team like that to 106. That's you should win that game. So we gotta. 100 points isn't us. So kudos to them. They did a good job, but there's definitely areas that we can improve on. And like I said, I'm sure we'll have a great film session tomorrow. Guys will watch film on their own tonight and tomorrow, and see where we can get better. It's one day in between games, so it is what it is. You watch film, then you just flush it and get ready for Game 4.
Ty, that third quarter specifically, you guys were up 15 for good stretches, but it never expanded.
Yeah.
In fact, it went down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
specifically in those minutes, what do you think happened?
Yeah, it's just such a thing that I have to watch film to give you a better answer on. It felt like the game was just like stuck there, which is a weird feeling. It felt like every time we scored, they scored. Every time we didn't, we got to stop. Never could, fully pull away. So again, I don't really know the real answer. I got to watch film and see where we can get better. There, I thought the ball got stuck a little bit. I felt like a lot of our turnovers came in the second half, which that could be wrong, right? I could be telling you the wrong thing, but I feel like we just did a better job of valuing the ball in the first half. It's something I got to watch film on, see where we can get better. But yeah, that third quarter was definitely a weird quarter where it was just we never really pulled away, and it just kind of stayed in that 13 to 15 range. And then McBride made some big shots there late in the quarter, and that kind of gave him some momentum. We got a big dunk there to make it a 10-point game, and we just didn't. And I don't think we started the fourth right, ended the fourth right, and that's the most important thing with quarters, especially in the playoffs. So it's a thing I have to watch film to give you a better answer on, but. Definitely a weird flow to it, and it's just part of it. You'll watch it, see where we can get better.
Yeah, Ty. You actually won the turnover battle, but one of the biggest stats that jumped up to me is they had scored 22 points off of turnovers, and you guys have scored only 8.
Yeah.
And do you think that might be because of some of these defensive guys that kind of stopped you guys in transition, so those live turnovers didn't hurt them as much?
Again, that's the thing I have to watch film on. I thought decision making probably wasn't the best, especially on my end. Had a couple bad turnovers there and in transition, missed the transition 3 on the right wing. Had the turnover, OG stole. So, I think we gotta make better decisions there. But it's definitely a thing you want to execute when you force turnovers to get rebounds. I mean, we run the rebound, or did we? No, we lost. No, you won it. Oh, we won the rebound battle. Yeah, so I feel like obviously that's the biggest point of emphasis when you play this team, especially with them starting big, and for us to still win the rebound battle, that's ideal for us. So we just got to do a better job of execution. But again, I think offensively the ball probably got a little too stagnant. And granted, we didn't make shots. It's a make or miss league. You shot 20% from. Yeah, we got to shoot better from. We'll shoot better. That's not us. But you got to find ways to win, and we just couldn't do that today. So we'll see where we can get better. Watch film and be ready to go for Game 4.
Pascal, as you think about that second half, just 42 points for you guys after you were up 20 in the second quarter. What do you feel like went sideways offensively that you guys couldn't ever get it going the way you want?
Yeah, we didn't make threes at all. I didn't think we was playing out as fast. We didn't really attack the paint as much. But yeah, just when you shoot the ball like that, and then they got going, they got guys that got going, that group out there, they made big plays and they played better defense than we did. We're solid on defense. I just thought we just didn't get like a rhythm offensively.
How much do you feel like that was because of Cat putting in all those shots to start the fourth, couldn't run the way you wanted?
Nah, he won on the run. We weren't able to shut that off. So we got to get better at that. And yeah, like he made some big plays at the end for them, and we weren't able to get stops when we needed them really. And also offensively, we didn't have our usual pop.
Ty just put a lot of the offensive struggles on himself, not getting the guys the pace you want. What can you guys do to help him play the speed you want and get the shots that he likes?
Wait, who said that? Yeah, we just gotta play. We just gotta play our way. And again, he's our leader in terms of getting us on the floor and where we need to be. But we just gotta run better. We just didn't have that kind of like ball movement and everything like as much as we usually do. So we gotta fix that.
What did they do to kind of take you out of what you're doing? And in particular, how much did the guys that they played that they usually don't play change things? They obviously went a lot deeper in their bench through a lot of.
Yeah, I have no idea how much it impacted. To be honest, I just think like for us, like no matter who's out there, like we just got to play our way, and I don't think we did.
Did just the moment when Aaron goes down? Obviously, he came back in, but how much do you think that shook things?
Yeah, no, it's tough. I mean, obviously, we hope it's nothing, like, and he can be back with us. It's a huge part of what we do, offensively and defensively, especially. Yeah, he's a tough guy, and we'll just wish him well. Hopefully, he's with us next game.
Pascal, when you're on the other end of the close game, I guess what do you take away from it, and how much do you focus on the result versus trying to get back to the process?
Yeah, they made some timely shots that we didn't, and the moments where we needed stops, we didn't get them. So it is what it is. We just gotta go back. Obviously, we're gonna watch film and figure out what we need to do better. And yeah, like in the moments where it was there, they made the shots and we did.
Pascal, Rick Carlisle was in here talking about you guys may have lost a little bit of your poise in the second half, turnovers, and you guys are all talking about the ball movement and the ball get staticky. Is the poise? Were y'all maybe looking ahead? Is there any reason for that? And could it be that you're 15 points ahead, you're about to close out game 3 and kind of fell apart?
Nah, I mean, I think I don't know really what it was, but again, we're gonna watch it and make sure that we stay playing our way and I just thought we just didn't and again, when you shoot whatever from 3, like it's hard to win the game too.
That third quarter in particular, you guys were up 12, 15 for most of the quarter, but you never really could expand that lead. What do you think was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't make shots, and again, they made some timely like just buckets where like offensive rebound here, they get to kick it out at 3 or like whatever, like broken play, like they made the plays, the 50-50 ball. We just didn't, and at one point we just couldn't really get that extra lead that we needed. And yeah, like we just gotta get better, regroup, and go back at it.
Pascal in the back here. What's the message to the team going into Game 4? You guys are still up 2-1. How do you regroup and make sure you get that win?
Yeah, we just gotta. It's one game at the end of the day, so we gotta go back for almost half of the game. We played really good defense. We played really good basketball, and the other half we didn't. So we just gotta go back to that and just figure out what went wrong and just go right back at it. It's one game and on to the next one.
All good? That's a wrap for us here and in the locker room.